Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm the GCSE science teacher, and in today's video we're going to be talking about different types of radiation and the effects they have on the human body and the overall effect it has on our health. Not only this, but some of the benefits of these types of radiation in the medical industry and in homes as well. So if you do enjoy this video and you find it interesting, feel free to give it a thumbs up, share it with someone else so they can also learn more, and please do subscribe if you haven't already. It'd be amazing to have you as part of our community here, so please do join us in doing so. So let's talk about the effects of radiation in a general sense. So radiation, either alpha, beta, or gamma, are hazardous to our health, and this is because they are ionizing. This means that they remove electrons from atoms which make up the molecules in our cells, specifically DNA, and this can lead to damaged DNA and cause mutations. Remember, mutations can be silent, where they have no overall effect on the phenotype or the physical characteristics on our body. They can also be beneficial in some circumstances, but mainly they can also be deadly or really hazardous as well. And this is the case in terms of how cancer forms as a result of radiation or ionizing radiation. And if you would like to learn more about cancer as well for GCSE biology, I will link a video that I did create recently. Also, the amount of energy that is provided through these emissions causes cellular death as well. So it's very hazardous to our body, and we're going to talk a little bit in more detail about why. So as scientists, we can identify where on Earth there are levels of radiation and the hazards associated, and this will fluctuate depending on the environment itself. So in some areas there'll be more radiation than others. A good example of where you'd find radioactive substances include in the rocks, in minerals, in the soil. So trace elements like uranium will be present there, and over time they will decay to form radon or radon gas, which is hazardous to health. We also know that radiation comes from outer space in the form of cosmic rays and reaches our Earth's atmosphere. And we also know that we can find radioactive isotopes such as carbon-14 in living cells and tissues. And interestingly enough, we can actually utilize carbon-14 in a technique called carbon dating to determine the age of a substance. And if you are interested, I'll leave some information in the description box below about carbon dating. Because we can actually get quite a good level of accuracy. Around 60,000 years of precision, we can go and find out how old something is. So I will leave some information if you're interested. We also know as well that radioactive substances can be found in the environment and utilized in nuclear reactants or power plants to generate electricity. And this was particularly problematic in the case of 1986 when the Chernobyl disaster occurred. And this was essentially a nuclear power station exploded for a variety of reasons and emitted a lot of that radiation into the environment, causing a lot of death and destruction to living animals, humans, plants, to the point where we can't actually live in that area anymore. No one can, it's inhabitable. But also, because it's inhabitable, it kind of has to be protected with concrete and lead to prevent any of the gamma radiation being transmitted into the environment any more so than it already has done. And I will leave some information about Chernobyl as well in the description box if you would like to read into it a bit further too. So what effect does alpha have on the body? Now, we know from a previous video of mine that alpha is stopped by paper and by skin, so it can't just get into our body in any way it likes. It can only get in if we inhaled alpha or ingested it, or it got in through an open wound. And if it did get into our body through those mechanisms, it would cause cellular damage. It would also cause mutations in our DNA and damage our DNA in that way, leading to things such as cancer. So it's highly problematic. Alpha is, however, actually used in devices like smoke alarms because it is easily stopped and it has a low penetration. So for example, alpha, because it's so highly ionizing, it actually ionizes the air, and those air particles, the ionized air particles, allow for current to flow. And if there is smoke in a building, the smoke particles actually stop this current, and that's what triggers the alarm to sound. So alpha is very useful in certain devices like smoke alarms, but not so much in the medical industry. So what effect does beta and gamma have on the body? Now, unlike alpha, both of these particles are much more able to penetrate further. So beta can be pass through our skin, but it is stopped by aluminium, and gamma definitely can pass through our skin, but it's stopped by lead and concrete. So anyone using a gamma source, for example, in the medical field would need to protect themselves by using like a lead apron to protect their internal organs and to prevent them from absorbing any gamma radiation. But also beta and gamma can cause skin burns and rashes, and they of course can harm our cells through their ionizing ability too. So, what is gamma used for in the medical industry? Because obviously, I've said exposure to gamma radiation can lead to things like cancers. However, interestingly enough, it can be used to treat cancers through the process of a technique called radiotherapy. Now, radiotherapy essentially is a medical method used to directly put gamma radiation on tumor cells or cancer cells and destroy them through disrupting their DNA, stopping them from dividing, and therefore leading to a better prognosis for the patient. Now, that's pretty much the elements that you need to know for GCSE, but if you want more information, I'll leave it in the description box for you to read further. But just as in short, if you will, there are a couple of different types of radiotherapy. One of them is external radiotherapy, and this is where a beam of gamma radiation is applied directly to a part of the body that contains the cancerous cells or the target tissues that you want to destroy. This will then lead to the destruction of those cells. We also have internal radiotherapy, and this is where a small piece of radioactive substance is directly injected or ingested or surgically placed into a patient with cancerous cells and tissues, and this radiation will destroy it over time. Another way gamma is used in medicine is by sterilizing surgical tools. Remember that gamma will destroy any cells, so bacterial cells such as pathogens that can cause disease, they will be destroyed, their DNA will be disrupted, and therefore they can no longer exponentially divide by binary fission and actually release any of those harmful toxins that lead to us feeling ill. And lastly, gamma is used in medical imaging. So, technetium 99 and other radioactive substances can actually be injected into soft tissues like the liver, the blood vessels, maybe even the kidneys. And this can be used to show the images of those particular areas of the body in a 2D or 3D way. And this can be detected using a gamma camera, as gamma essentially is emitted from those areas. And because of the high penetration, they're easily detected and they're easily passed through the body. It's really important to say at this point that the isotope being used has a very short half-life and is not poisonous to the person. So to reduce some of the risks associated with this particular technique. It's something important to say as well with any of these techniques I've mentioned. So radiotherapy, for example, there is always going to be some symptoms or side effects associated with that particular technology. So in the case of radiotherapy, the patient might feel nauseous, or they might have digestive issues if it's ingested into them. If there's any surgery, there's always risk of infection. And also, of course, if there is any direct gamma radiation on the outside of the person, so external radiotherapy, it could also cause skin burns as well. So these are also often coupled with other medical techniques to support the person with the cancer diagnosis. So, for example, chemotherapy is often used in conjunction with surgery. So this is all to kind of have a triple pronged approach to help that patient have a better prognosis. And it's just something to be aware of, that often these techniques are not done in isolation. They can be used together, but they also can be used individually as well. So just a bit of background for you. And that's it from me today. Thank you so much for your time. I've been the GCSE science teacher and you have been curious. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a big thumbs up. Share this with someone else so they can also benefit from learning more. And also do subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate every single one of you for supporting my channel. And if you would like any other videos specifically about nuclear radiation, or you want to learn more about a specific science topic, do let me know. I have lots of playlists on my channel, but also on Instagram and TikTok. Everything is at the GCSE Science Teacher. I do like to get back to you, so if you do leave me a nice comment in the comments below, thank you so much in advance, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.